Okay, so sorry about that. Wait, let me take my glasses off. Okay, so I got a notification. So now, I guess this moment was when I stayed with my father. I don't really know whether I was staying with him due to the fact of me being in the auxiliary training, because it was a training we had to go through. So they taught us self-defense and, you know, taught us, the fundamentals of the police department. The fundamentals. Or should I say the fundamentals and the basics. They didn't teach us the intermediate part of it, because, the intermediate would have been all that stuff up there that you do, But anyway, let me stay focused. So, it was me and the girlfriend. She the one who introduced me to it, and I went through it, right? I passed it. I graduated. They have a big police ceremony where all the police officers at one police plaza that's a big place. They got an auditorium in there. And we went, I invited my uncle and my father, but of course they didn't come. My friend, her mother came and stuff like that. So we got our badge. We had to do an oath, to protect and all this stuff. You had to swear, put your hand up, all this stuff. I did it. So now I got my uniform, right? So now here was the catch with this. This is the reason why I got kicked out. The catch with that was that you work for 6 months, because it's a job. You actually working for 6 months as an auxiliary. Constantly, you come to work. My shift was 4 to 12. So yes, I was with mommy for a little while, because I would come late home after 12 o'clock. She wasn't too thrilled with it. She didn't like it. But this is why I say, when I do things, my grandmother did not hound me and beat me over the head and told me I was going to hell and all this other stuff. She didn't do all that. She was a grandmother. She was a mother to me, Not to take the place of my mother, but that's what she was. I know I'm about to go in because my coffee's getting cold. So now, let me make this kind of quick, but to the point. So now, went on. The first time I got my uniform, I was scared to go in my grandmother's house, because it was, of course, the police officer wear pants. So my outfit was pants. And I tried my best to hold on to that picture. And I didn't. That's because I was all over the place. I was staying with my grandmother. It wasn't like being in a house. Your parents own the house and everything, stay in that house, and you leave out, but you can go back to the house and get the stuff that you left there. So it wasn't like that. I left the house. She passed away. No, I left the house. She moved. Right? Because the house I grew up in, she eventually moved, because of course she got older and she's by herself. Even though she was already in the 1-bedroom, so she didn't have to leave. She was sent to a senior citizen home. Not a home, Lucia Devil. A senior citizen building where it's not but senior citizens. Blah, 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 blah. Elevate, all that stuff. So now, getting to the story. I'm sorry, I got ADHD. Then every time you say one thing, something come in my head, and I talk about that. But let me try to stay focused. So, I got my uniform, da 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 da. Now I'm with my father. Now I'm going to the day that I got put out. There was so much stuff going on in that house. What do I mean? My father drank. He was a drunk. You hear what I'm saying? He was a drunk. And I thank God I wasn't a drunk. But bringing the word Sunday, I found out that looking up the word drunken, intoxication is a part of drunkenness. And that was the word I was telling them when I was reading the message. I said I had a tendency of saying, I gotta hurry up, it's getting kind of hot out here. And people would be like, Sharon, you drunk? No, I don't get drunk. I get intoxicated. But in reality, intoxication is drunkenness, right? So, okay, with that being said, my father would drink, and he was living with this lady. Her name was Paulette. I called her Aunt Paulette. Why I call her Aunt Paulette? She wasn't my aunt because of the simple fact she was going out with my father. So what would that be? That would make her, well, it wouldn't too much make her my stepmother because they ain't married in biblical terms. But in society terms, she would be my stepmother, right? But I was not calling her mom because I already had somebody I was calling mom. So, all right, Sharon, stay focused. So, anyway, I was staying with her. My father would get up because he would leave to go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm trying to get this so you're not see that little puff going on here. I don't know what happened all of a sudden. Oh, that girl's waiting for the bus. She can't hear. Play for a little while. So, they would fight. He would fight this lady, beat up this lady. I would hear her and Jesse, stop it. Right? So, now there's so much happening in that house. So we're going to focus on me getting kicked out. I will come back and do a story time of the ingredients that was going on in that house. Right? And how I almost killed myself. Right? Not so much as what was going on in the house. It was that I got a Mickey. Somebody gave me a Mickey. And I almost killed myself. So that's another story time. So I was given, look at me, I'm going into that story. So now, this particular day, I got so, well, I wasn't going to say this particular day. During the course of the times that I was there, it was getting overwhelming. But my father would come in the room and wake me up. Get up. You need to go get a job. We ain't here to take care of you. You just lazy. Maybe I was lazy, right? I'm a working man. I'm not going to be taking care of you and all this other stuff, right? So he will wake me up 6 o'clock in the morning, put me out the house and tell me to go find a job. I felt like I was living in the 17th centuries. I felt like I was that boy that get their little stick and put their little clothes on their back and they running away. That's how I felt, right? So I dealt with it. I didn't do that. He would come, he would yell at me, he'd scream. He didn't too much hit me, but his girlfriend would be like, Jesse, leave that girl alone, right? He'd be like, don't tell me what to do. This is my daughter. Don't be telling me what to do. Right? So I got so tired of it that I had, being in the police department, there was this couple that I forgot their name, but there was this couple, and we became friends with them. And you talking about drinking? Now these people outdid my dad, right? They was very nice people, but when they drank, they got nicer, but they got worse towards one another. They was a kick. They had me laughing all the time. But I would like be the mediator. I would come in between their fights and all this stuff, and they respected me so they wouldn't fight. But then they got liquor inside of them. They was fighting. They drank vodka. They would bring the vodka to the job. They would be on the job drunk. Oh, there's some ears. Can y'all see my hair moving? But anyway, I got some air. Ooh, that's so nice. God knew I was hot. See how he take care of me? That's why I love him. He trusts me, and I thought, ooh, I'm getting me some nice breeze. Nice, Bree. You see that? Y'all see that? Now you know. Y'all heard me say I was hot, right? Y'all heard me say I gotta go in because it's getting hot. Look what God did. He be taking care of me. Oh my goodness. Lord Jesus. Y'all see what I got on? I got my little shirt, so if it get too cold, I can zip it up. So that breeze felt so good. Lord, he knew just what I needed. Okay, I'm excited. You know, I love it when God does something just by thought. Just by one word. Me and this lady was talking about it last night, and she was like, ADHD kicking in. Let me just say that. How God will give you what you want. You just think it, and he'll do it for you. And that is so true. Okay, so let me hurry up. So now, I got so sick of this one day. I went to these two people's house. To the girl house, not to the guy house. It was getting so that they would drink so much that the job did not want them. But since it was auxiliary, it was volunteer, there wasn't too much they can do. I believe they was on it for years because, as I said, you be there for 6 months after. I don't think I finished that, right? After you be there for 6 months, you get on the payroll and you get a check every month. So once I told my father and his girlfriend that, they was cool with it, right? So I was working maybe for about 3 months now. I was working, and it's just like I said, my hours was from 4 o'clock in the afternoon to 12 o'clock at night. And they lived it, I forgot the name of the projects that they lived, but they lived it behind the Williamsburg Bridge. Was that the Williamsburg Bridge? Or the George Washington Bridge? Yeah, George Washington Bridge. They lived behind that. Right? Oh, I feel so much better. I don't know. That air really did something for me. So, okay. So now, they live behind it. So, I would, sometimes I'd take cabs if the girl and the guy would pay for it. And then sometimes I would go to her house and just stay at her house. So this particular time I went to her house and I stayed there for 3 months. 3 months? Yeah, it was 3 months. Right? So I guess I had already been there for 6 months already on the job. It's time to go. They're walking the dog in here, really? As long as that dog, let me finish my story. So they what was I saying? Okay, so I went and I stayed with this girl for 3 months. It was a long time. I'm gonna say 3 months. It could have been 2 months. It could have just been a month, but it was a long time, right? And it was about a month because I did not stay on the job for 3 months because for 6 months because I got kicked out. My father kicked me out within the 3 month period. So I couldn't get on the payroll because I had to stay consecutively coming to the job for 6 months straight, right? So, okay. So I stayed at this girl house for, I'm going to say a year. I stayed at this girl house for a month, right? They was Pentecostal. Do you hear what I'm saying? This girl was a Pentecostal daughter. Knew about holiness and all of that. She was Spanish. And I would go to church with them. My grandmother was in South Carolina. So during the course that I was going, right, so that's how I got to get there. Because I went, got the uniform and all that. During the training part, I was at home. But when I actually got the job, per se, got assigned to the job, to the precinct that I was going to be working at voluntarily, I was staying with my father because my grandmother had went down south, and my father told her, "Mommy, leave her. I'll take care of her." My grandmother told him, "Now, Jesse, make sure you take care of my granddaughter." And he was like, "I'm gonna take care of her. I'll take care of her." Right? Okay. So, with that being said, I'm busy trying to fix my hair. Okay, so now, let me get to the point at hand. So now I return back after I stayed with this girl for a month, right? I walks in the house. I must have got to the house maybe about 7 o'clock. Nope. I went to work, yeah, so it got to be about 2 o'clock, right? 12, 1. No, not even that long. But whatever, I get to the house this early morning. My father opened up the door. He drunk. He looking at me like, giving me that funny look. And I always was able to feel people's vibes, right? So that's why I was telling the lady last night on the phone this morning that God, if you already got some things in you, God don't got to give it to you. He just got to perfect it so it's used for His glory. Right? So I'm busy watching this dog. But anyway, let me finish my story so I can get out of here. So I come back in the house, he's giving me Google eyes, right? And he's asking me where you was. I said I was at my friend's house. Oh, you was at your friend's house? I said, yeah, I was at my friend's house. Really? I was like, yes, okay. Can you go back to your friend's house? I said, no, I can't go back to my friend's house. Why you can't go back to your friend's house? I said, because my welcome is finished. I was there already for a month. Why was you there? I didn't want to tell them why. Because y'all crazy. I'm tired of y'all fighting, and then you get mad with the lady, then you want to come and you want to start fussing and arguing with me. He didn't hit me. No, he didn't hit me. My father never did that. Once I got in my teenage years, he never really hit me. He wasn't really that type of dad anyway. The only time he would hit me is when lies was told on me and my grandmother didn't want to hit me. She was too old, so the dog ain't listen to you. So it was too. No, I'm sorry. I'm just checking for this dog right here. So anyway, let me go on. Okay, so the only time he would hit me, my grandmother was too old, had gotten too up in age, where and I'm feeling that today. I don't even hit my kids, my grandkids. I let their mother hit them, or I let the aunt hit them. I don't hit them. I call them and say, yo, whip them. They do something real bad. But that's neither here nor there, right? So so my father never really did that to me. His slaps was contagious. His slaps was crazy. He would slap me. One time he slapped me so hard I peed on myself. But it wasn't based on something that I did. It was based on something that my cousin said to my grandmother, and my grandmother told my father. Right? But it wasn't all about me being a bad child. I'm here to tell you. I was an obedient child. This is not a video about me. We'll do a story time on me. Okay. So now, he said what he said. He left out. I'm sitting there. I didn't even bother to get undressed. I still had my book bag or whatever. Well, at that time, I wore a lot of backpacks. So, yeah, now I'm thinking about, I wore a lot of backpacks. That's probably why I have such a strong back. So, I still had my backpack on. I didn't take my clothes off because I felt uncomfortable. I felt like something was coming. So I said, I'm not getting undressed. So, sure enough, she comes in the room, right? When she come in the room, she sit on there. I never forget, there was like a, back then in the 70s, yeah, in the 70s. This had to be in the 70s. So this is 10 years later. Okay. Because I got married in the 80s. So I had to be about 16, yeah. Because 17 I went to Job Corps. So I had to be about 15 or 16. Okay. So the jukebox, you know how the jukebox, they call jukebox now. I mean then. Jukebox where the record player and it closed up. It was like a long case where it closed and you could sit like on top of it. So, not sure enough, she came in the room and sat on top of this record player. And she said, oh, so okay. Sharon, where you was? Because I was doing that often. I would come real late. I didn't never stay out that long. But every day I would be at work because I work 7 days a week. But they would give me Sunday because I was a church girl. Supposed to be a church girl, put that. So I worked 6 days a week from 4 to 12, right? And after I got off, I didn't rush home. I would hang out with the girl. Not too much go to her house, not too much go to his house, but we would stay like in front of the precinct. And there was a liquor store not far away, and they would buy liquor, and they would be getting drunk. Now, my girlfriend, the girl that introduced me to it, she lived across the street from the precinct. And I could go to her house, but she never would take them. She would tell me, she said, they not coming to my house, Sharon. We'll sit out here, and we'll hang out with them. And she'll be like, I got to go home. She'll go home. She said, well, when you're ready, you can come to my house. I used to go to her house, stay at her house, too. Her mother would let me stay and stuff like that. See, I don't play that. Ain't no kids coming to my house spending the night in. No teenagers, no nothing like that. Because you got a parent, you got a home, you go home. You got issues at home, you got to take it up at your house. Because I ain't getting in no beef with no parents. I don't believe no 16 years old is supposed to be staying outside their house. I stayed outside my house, but nobody didn't take the time to find out why. They didn't help. They didn't do nothing. They just let me stay there. So I stayed there. So now she comes in the room and she starts talking and she's like, so you was at your friend's house? She asked me where I was. I said I was at my friend's house. They said, is this a guy or is this a girl? I said, it's a girl. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, she was like, oh, okay. She said, all right. And she said to me, she said, your father wants you out. I'm trying to think who it was. No, I think he told me that Paulette wants you to leave. No, that's not how it was. Come on, Holy Ghost, help me with my memory. I know it's over 30 years ago. If I'm correct, after he left out, she came in, talked to me, and then she said, well, you got to leave. I was like, I got to leave? She said, yeah, you got to go. Right? I said, oh my goodness. And the first thing went in my head, like, where am I going? Because I couldn't go back to the girl. You know how some kids, see, that's why I understand when I had issues with my kids and they be talking about they'll go. I know it's because they got somebody that they can go to their house with, because if they didn't have nobody to go to, they wouldn't be talking all that yang. Because when they don't have nowhere to go and we were getting disagreements, they ain't had nothing to say. They listen. But they go hang out all night or all day or all 2 and 3, 4 days and then come back in. This was Danielle. Come back in. Then me and her getting the beef. I'm like, why you staying out? Da 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 da. She get mad. Well, I'll go on back. Well, go on. You popping a lot of junk because you got someplace to go. But and I would say, yeah, you popping a lot of junk because you got someplace to go now. But when that time run out, you got to come back here. So you better make a wise decision. Because once you walk out, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to let you back in because you walked away. Okay, so I stayed. I didn't come back in the house knowing I had some place to go. I stayed out until I could not stay there anymore. And I was like, I got to go home now. Oh man, the girl told me, my mother said you got to go, blah, blah, blah. I rewind back. Let me keep going forward. So she said, well, you got to go. Excuse me, that was my first time ever getting kicked out of the house. That was my first time ever being homeless. That's why when I lost my apartment, it didn't faze me. You see what I'm saying? That particular time when I got kicked out, I was on the street. Okay, so let me tell you the procedures, how it was. So she said, you gotta go, right? So I said, all right, fine. I think I had took off my backpack. I didn't take my clothes off, I took I said, fine. So now she wanna ask me, now my father wanna come in and wanna ask me, where you going? I said, don't worry about where I'm going. I was sassy. Yes, I was sassy. Don't be acting like you care now. You came in here and you was talking to me, and then you went back and talked to her, so apparently y'all into this together. Don't come, well, where you gonna go? Don't worry about where I'm gonna go. Because you know mommy going. You know mommy's all the way down south. Where am I supposed to go? I tried to go to my aunt's house. She wouldn't take me. No. I didn't do nothing. I just got my knapsack, put it on. So now my father gonna come out the room talking about, where you going? Where you gonna go, Sharon? I just kept walking. I'm good for indoor, how you say, ignoration. I was good. I am a master at ignoring people in a very respectful way, to the point they'd be like, I was calling you, really? You were? And all the time I'm hearing you call. But I got such a skill at it that it will look like I don't hear you. And if you dumb enough to believe that I didn't hear you, then I'm smart enough to let you think that. Like that, right? So anyway, so I'm just not paying him no mind. I'm walking on, going to the door. So I get to the door and he starts talking or whatever to me, and I'm upset, and I'm like, leave me alone, daddy. Leave me alone, daddy. You don't care nothing about me. You don't care nothing about me. You listen, yeah, it was her that put me out. You listening to her and all this other stuff. Oh, I forgot that. He came and told me that was supposed to be the reason why. Because she came first and told me I had to leave. Yeah. See, the Holy Ghost will bring stuff to you, remember? She came to me first and told me I had to leave. But she didn't tell me why. So then my dad came and said, yeah, Paulette wants you to leave. I said, Paulette want me to leave for what? I said, Daddy, what did I do to this lady? She barely says anything to me. Oh, okay, I went out, I stayed out. I'm sorry about that. I won't do that no more. He said, no, she's not. She don't, something about she don't want to hear it or whatever the case. She said that you hit her. I said, I hit her? I said, Dad, you know better than that. You know me better than that. Well, Sharon, that's what she said. She said you hit her. Hit her? And she fell. I remember the incident. She was having issues with me, arguing with me, and I was walking away, and I think she was pulling me or something. And I jerked away, and because she was so drunk, she fell. Because I was leaving. And not that I was leaving to leave, it's just that she was trying to keep me there to do this and do that, and it was time for me to go. I had to be to work at 4 o'clock, and it was already 3:30. And she always would start stuff with me when she knew it was time for me to go to work. So here it is this particular day, and this is what made me stay out, because I was very upset. That took the cake, because whenever my father wasn't there, she would start issues with me too. She would be pulling on me and stuff like that, and I'd be telling her, Paulette, get off of me. I mean, they was abusive. Lord Jesus. Now that I'm thinking about it, she would be pulling on me and pulling me by my clothes and pull me back in the room and say, clean up the room. Now, mind you, the room is already cleaned up because I was the only one there. She had kids, but they was wherever they was. And it was just me in the room. I think she had boys, so that was another reason why I would stay out, because I was not sleeping in no room with no boys. I had enough experience with boys going all up my dress, pulling out, waking up and my panties is pulled down, and I'm about to kick you to the moon because you're gonna get off of me, okay? So I was very particular. So that was another reason why I was reacting and staying out and all this other stuff. But I never would tell nobody. I didn't tell my father that. I didn't tell Paulette that. So I'm getting ready to go to work. I got to rewind to this because this is a part of the story at hand. So I'm getting ready to leave to go to work this particular day, and she wants me to wash some dishes. So I go wash the dishes. I'll be like, really, Paulette, you gonna tell me to wash some dishes? Now, I've been in that room for 3 hours since I woke up, 7 hours, whatever. Now it's time for me. And I will usually leave like 12, 1 o'clock because I will meet up with these, I forgot the girl name. I would meet up with this couple and we would hang together, and my girlfriend would meet me. Her name was Melody, and I would meet her in front of her house, and we would meet up with them, and we'll sit up in the park. What was the name of the park? Because they lived it on Melrose. Dang, I forgot the name of the projects they lived in. But we would meet up in the park and we'd sit there and da-da-da-da-da. So I'm leaving and she want to pull me and tell me to wash the dishes. I go wash the dishes. You forgot this. You forgot that. Go on and clean up. I was raised to be obedient, so I went on and cleaned it up. I done did all that. She want to pull me by my clothes and push me in the room, tell me to clean up. Ain't nothing to pick up. I'm picking up little specks off the floor to satisfy her. Paulette, is nothing in here to clean. Yes, it is. What? You talking back? You talking back? And she pick her hand up like to hit me, and I'll hold this is what I would do, but I would never hit her. So now I'm telling her I'm leaving. I'm going. I'm done. I done did all I had to do. Now I'm going. I'm done. I'm finished with this. I got to go to work. So I'm going towards the door to go, and she comes in front of me, and she goes to push me away, and she grabs me, and I kind of like push her. And just like I said, she's drunk, so she stagger a little bit. And so now that gives me space to get to the door. So when I go to the door, she pulls me, and I kind of like jerk myself off, and she falls. But I don't turn around. I walk out. And I stay out for a whole month. So now this is what the deal is. I get back, and this is what my father tells to me. That you hit her. I hit her. Then she comes in there, Paulette. She comes in the room. Sharon says she didn't hit you. She lying, Jesse. You know they drunk. She lying, Jesse. She hit me. Well, I was trying to keep her from, not keep her from me. I don't even think she told the truth. I think she was saying, I told her to go wash the dishes, and she went and pushed me, and I fell. I gave my father a look like, I said she fibbing. See, that's why I was always raised not to call adults liars. She fibbing. You know me, Daddy. I would never hit an adult. That is not me. So he knew me. He knew my character was not like that. But because he was a womanizer, and because he beat that lady sometimes to a pulp, and he did not want to go by the truth of the matter, that his daughter was not like him. So he want to put it in there that I'm like him, so I hit her too, because she is a punching bag. So I'm going around hitting her too. No, it was a lie. And, well, you got to go. I said, fine, I'm leaving. And that's when he was saying, right, it was him in the room talking to me, right? And it was him that followed me to the door and everything, trying to stop me. And I'm crying and boo-hooing. You know I ain't got nowhere to go, and you let that woman put me out. Went on. So that's the story. I went on, got hooked up with the aunt's husband that I couldn't go to, but I didn't know I couldn't go to at the time. No, I think I did know, because she had told me already that I couldn't go to her. I couldn't come to her. So I knew not to go and ask her, even though he told me to call and ask her. My uncle told me to call and ask her. And I did call, and she was like, nope, nope, nope. You're not going to me. Nope, nope, nope. But before I met up with him, I was just walking the street crying. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I was at peace. But I was like, good, I ain't gotta go back there. Yeah, I'm walking the street, but I ain't gotta go back there. I don't have to look at them. I don't have to be abused by them verbally and physically. I'm crying for my grandmother. Where's mommy at? Mommy, where you at? Next time I'm going with you, do not leave me here. She have no idea what's going on. He told her fib. He told my grandmother, I will take care of her. She told her, make sure you take care of my grand. Why? Because she knew her son. She knew her son drank to the and don't know what's going on. I didn't know my father was like that. I didn't know my father was such mean spirit. I didn't know that because I did not raise up with him. He was not a part of my life like that. You see what I'm saying? But me living with him was a disaster. And I lived with him when I was 15, and then after me and my husband got married, he came and lived with us. His character was the same, but all that foolishness he wasn't doing. He was contaminating my husband, and my husband was doing the things that he told my husband to do, and this same husband I'm with now. But that's another story time. So that is the story of how my dad and his girlfriend kicked me out. So let me just give you a ending to this story. I walked the streets for about 3 to 6 hours, and as I was walking, I passed the gas station, and I remember that my uncle, the same aunt that told me I couldn't come stay with her, worked at that gas station. And once I went in there, and he looking at me, it's now 3 o'clock in the morning now, and he's looking at me, Sharon, what are you doing walking the street this time of night? And I started crying. I told him what happened, and he was like, oh my God, he hugged me and all this other stuff. I ain't thinking nothing about the hug. Somebody cares for me. But the song said, nobody cares for me like Jesus. He's so kind and true. No one else can take the sin and darkness from you. Oh, how much he cares for you. See, so I'm thinking he cared for me. No. I think that hug is like, oh my God, my niece. My niece is out here in the street. Oh, I love you so much, my niece. Her uncle to a niece hug. No, that's not what it was about. But unfortunately, I found that out later on. That's another story. That will be how my uncle molested me. So anyway, I ran up on him, and he took me into that gas station, and he sent me to the store to buy some food. I'm telling him what's going on, and that's where I remained with him. And he found a place for me to stay. Because I didn't go, that's how I got introduced to Covenant. Because I had to go to the precinct. And because there was a precinct not too far from there. And he told me how to get there. And I must stay, he had me stay not with him, but with a family member. I think his sister. Because he was married to my uncle, but that was his sister. There was so much infestation going on in my family that I know nothing about. But sure enough, that's what the deal was. So that is the story. That is that story time. I don't know how long that was. That was 39 minutes. Okay, long enough. So, upon me staying with the family member, I must have stayed with her for about a week or two, and then she told him, which was his sister, that I had to go. And I'm glad he did. I'm glad she did, because it was crazy up in there. Craziness was going on. I was like his girlfriend. Them stories that y'all read, them movies that y'all see, where family members take they nieces and nephews as husbands and wives, it's a fact. No, I didn't marry to him, but it was like he was treating me like I was his wife. He made me go get tested and everything to make sure I wasn't pregnant. Because it was, Lord Jesus, and I think about this, I say, God, I will forever serve the Lord. Watch your girls with your family members. Your boys with your family members. All right, so that is the story of, what was it? How my dad and his girlfriend kicked me out. I'm going to walk back over here to my house because I live right across the street from a park. Isn't that so grand? There's no reason for them kids to not be having some fun this summer because we in park area. God, this is where I want y'all to see. This is where I want to have my outreach service at. And we would have it, let me see, where would I set it up? I don't know, now that I'm looking. Maybe I would set it like in the middle. Maybe about right there. Let me make sure. Can you see my hand? Right up in right there. No, there. Right there in the middle. I would set it up so the drums, all that stuff could set up. And we got a lot of benches that people can sit in that goes around. It's like a, can I say a triangle? Yeah, it's like a triangle. See, because it cuts off right down there. And over here is a square. I don't want the man to be in my video. So it's like a triangle. When I step out, I'll let y'all see. So we could set up right there, have the drums, all that stuff. People can even set up their what's the names over here? They what you call them? They music stuff over here. The mic could be there. We can even set up chairs to run down like that. Oh, child, all right.